What's going on, you guys? So Shakur Stevenson, it's been in the news quite a bit through this dry week of in the sport of boxing, right? It's been a relatively slow, dry um, week, or probably 2 weeks in the sport of boxing. Ain't really nothing significant happened. Ain't really no fights. Ain't no really fights coming up until what, later on this month, right? I know, of course, we got Mark Magasayo and Ray Vargas later on this week. July 9th. But other than that, we waiting for Danny Garcia, Jose Benavidez, Ryan Garcia, and Javier Fortuna. But Shakur Stevenson, he's been doing, he's had a few battles outside the ring, one with Dante from Dante's Boxing Nation. Salute to Dante. Hopefully they squared that away, right? Hopefully that to me, that was just a big misunderstanding between them two guys. And hopefully they got it squared away. But Shakur Stevenson, he was on the Last Stand podcast with Brian Custer. Salute to Brian Custer and the Last Stand podcast. And yeah, Brian Custer has Shakur Stevenson on there. And you know, Brian Custer, he asked the really, really good questions. And yeah, Shakur Stevenson got asked who was the fight that he wants the most, who will win between Crawford and Spence, amongst other things, right? And check out some of the things that Shakur Stevenson had to say.
Ryan Garcia, you know that was a big money fight. There's Gervonta Tank Davis. Which one of those guys, Loma, because you've already said Loma, but which one of those guys interests you the most?
Yeah. I mean, they both do. They both big fights at the end of the day. You got to respect Tank for what he do. He goes in there and he knocks these dudes out that don't really belong in the ring with him. And you got to respect Devin. With Devin.
So is he saying, by saying that, right, about Tank Davis, that he goes in there and knocks out dudes that don't belong in there? So you saying Tank fought a bunch of people that don't belong in there with him, right?
Just did was he earned my respect a lot with that performance. I feel like Kambosos was the man who beat the man who beat the man, and Devin went in there and dominated him. He beat him with a jab. His boxing was beautiful. His defense was on point. I think both of them fights is a major fights for me. I feel like me, Tank, and Dev is like three of the best fighters in the sport of boxing, and I think a round robin with us will be like people's dreams. But at the end of the day,
that would be people's dream. That would be a dream scene, right? That would be quite a sight to see if we can get a round robin between these three. But we know how the politics of boxing can be. I don't know, man. You know, I stay hopeful when I hear things like that, but we know better. We've seen how these things play out. A round robin between these three guys, Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, could last another 3 or 4 years. Now, Tank Davis may not have that long like these other young guys do, right? He may not have that much time like they do. So Tank Davis, if I was Tank Davis, I would be looking to fight those guys sooner than later, because they're going to get older, stronger, and better before Tank will. You know, Tank Davis is he's closer to 30 now than he is to 20, and they still closer to 20 than they are to 30.
We all black young fighters, and I like to see them win. I hope they like to see me win too. So at the end of the day, it would be better for us to like take care of all the other competition and then be the last of the dying breeds. But like I said, I cut for both of them dudes. Both of them dudes is young, black, and I seen them dudes come up. Like I done seen Tank from a kid, trenches Tank, Baltimore Tank. I done seen Tank from nothing. So I'm happy to see what he doing now, and I done seen Devin from a kid too. So it's like I said, I got nothing but love for them dudes. But I would love to get in the ring with them.
Yep, that's what Shakur said about him stepping in the ring with his young fellow rivals, Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis. Now, Shakur Stevenson said quite a bit in this interview. He talked about the Crawford Spence fight, and he gave his pick on that, right? He gave his pick on that fight. He said Crawford's like a brother to him, you know. He said Spence is, him and Spence is cool too. He's always been like a brother, but Crawford's like his brother, and he's going to be standing behind his brother in that fight between him and Errol Spence. Now, he really didn't want to pick right? He really didn't want to pick because he wants to remain neutral and stay kosher with both guys, but he got it right with his brother Terrence Bud Crawford. So that was a no brainer who he was going to pick in that one. And yeah, man, Shakur Stevenson, tremendous amount of talent. Let's see what he says here.
Floyd my guy too, so I don't take it personal. I just let it motivate me. But I hear him say all the time that there will never be another fighter better than me. And every time he said it at his Hall of Fame speech. Every time he says it, it's like it got me up. Like I done got up and went to run. I got up and go put my miles in. Like it just makes me want to work harder because it's like
Very motivated young man. I'll tell you that. Shakur Stevenson, very motivated, very driven in the sport of boxing, and it seemed like he could possibly be a little annoying to some because it's almost like he's trying to force feed his greatness or his potential greatness down our throats. I say this to the young guy: just do you, man, do you. Everybody knows Shakur Stevenson is tremendously talented. He's arguably amongst the best out of all of the young guys, right? Under 27, 26 years old. He's probably one of the best, if not the best, out of all these guys. So, yeah, he just got to, wait his time. His time will tell and time will prove all when it comes to Shakur Stevenson. Now, check out him talking about the skill set of Tank Davis.
fighter at the end of the day. Tank is he's a skillful fighter, but it's like in his fights, it's like he be competitive until he can land his shot. But what I will say, like with the
So, in other words, Tank Davis be arguably losing his fights, and then he lands that one shot there, and that's all she wrote, right? That's basically what he was trying to say. Um, say it nicely, right? And look, I'm glad that there's no real animosity between these three guys because sometimes when there's animosity between these fighters, right, real animosity, instead of beating each other up in a ring, this is the modern day. So instead of beating each other up in a ring, they'll beat each other up with the politics. They'll beat each other up outside the ring as far as not giving that guy a fight, right? I won't fight him. He ain't gonna get no fight. He on the black card. You ain't getting the fight. So that's what a lot of these dudes do today, man. So I'm glad these three guys are at least cool with each other, and I hope they remain this way. Sometimes being too cool could be a problem as well, but just keep it competitive. You know what I'm saying? Keep it competitive.
fully fight, it was smart the way that he played it. Like he kind of was just boxing, and then reeled them into a big shot. So it was. I mean, Tank is a great fighter. I just feel like I'm confident in myself. At the end of the day, I feel I'm better than every fighter in the sport of boxing. I'll tell you that right now. You asked me about Canelo, but
He said he better than every fighter in the sport of boxing. I love the confidence, but now he's gonna have. Look, big fan of Shakur Stevenson, big fan. But now, since he say that, and since he always says it to the point where it's beating my head, I can't see him. I can't see no B level performances, bro. I gotta see nothing but A level performances, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's just me subconsciously. You know what I'm saying? When I see him fight now, I'm going to have to see none shorter, nor none no less than an A level performance from you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Yeah, my standard is really high for Shakur Stevenson because I believe in Shakur Stevenson. I think he is as good as he think he is and as good as he say he is. But he gonna have to really show it, right?
anybody, I'm going to tell you I'm better than him or I'm more skillful. That's just me. Like that's how I feel about myself. I'm so confident. So at the end of the day, I'm not dissing them dudes. Like I said, the young black coming up, but I feel like I'm the best fighter in the sport of boxing. So people could take it how they want to. They probably don't want to hear me say that. That's just how I feel about myself, honestly. And I know what I'm capable of. I know what tools I got. I know what I can do in there with anybody. Like I don't.
I mean, sheesh. I mean, Shakur Stevenson, he feels like he's the best fighter in boxing. He feels like he's better than Tank Davis, apparently, right? He didn't really say Dev too much, though, right? He didn't, him and Devin Haney, he knows Devin Haney will likely be a IQ type of matchup, and Devin Haney has the skill set, he has the stature and the frame, the length, and the speed to deal with Shakur Stevenson. Of course, you see here in the sparring session that happened years ago, before their professional careers really took off. and it was a really competitive sparring match. And one would wonder how a professional fight would go today. You see, Shakur Stevenson get landed on right there. He don't get hit too much. We don't see him get hit too much, but we've seen Devin Haney land a shot there. I don't know, man. Shakur Stevenson is a tremendously talented young guy. He's has an abundance of confidence, and I mean he truly believes he's the best fighter in boxing, and that's the type of confidence that we like to see in a fighter. But Shakur Stevenson also will have to go out here and prove it as well. So yeah, he always liked to mention Canelo Alvarez. He said he's better than Canelo. And go check out the full interview. Right, this is just a little bit of it. He said he gives his pick on the Spence Crawford fight. He really didn't want to pick. You could tell he really didn't want to pick because he don't want to, but because you could tell he respects both guys. But Crawford's like his big brother for real. So he said he's going to be standing behind Bud in that fight. And yeah, man, Shakur Stevenson said Tank Davis, he's in there with these guys. The fight looks competitive, and then until he lands that shot. So basically, he's saying that Tank Davis arguably would be losing his fights until he lands that one shot. He feels that he's more skilled than Tank Davis. He also brought up Ryan Garcia. He also brings up Ryan Garcia. He gets asked about Ryan Garcia. He said he thinks that Ryan Garcia is a lot better than people give him credit for. Sorry for the audio. The audio issues, I had to redo it. But yeah, Ryan Garcia is a lot better than people give him credit for. He said that Ryan Garcia keeps his chin up too high and that Ryan Garcia may be lacking or lagging behind in the skill set department amongst him and the other guys. However, he thinks Ryan Garcia is a lot better than people give him credit for, and as long as he puts in the work. But yeah, Shakur Stevenson said quite a bit in his interview. Really good interview. Salute to Brian Custer in the Last Stand podcast. Go check out what Shakur Stevenson had to say in his entirety. Like, subscribe, holler at your boy. Peace out.